All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah HaKodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to you, sincere and hopeful elect Akim, that push the word of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai in spirit and in truth. And coming back at you with another lesson. In this lesson, first off, it was inspired through the Spirit. Watching the apostles live stream from this past weekend, there was something that the apostles had mentioned. They were going into the Wright brothers and how they were the first in flight, and how it was the Heavenly Father that gave them the pretty much the knowledge, or the left hand blessing to be able to build an aircraft. All right. So they mentioned I believe they looked up how long the first flight was, and so on and so forth. But based upon that, I got to thinking about, as you see here on DeepSeek, what I had typed in. My initial question was, what speed does the fastest jet made in America travel? So it says the fastest jet ever made in America is the NASA USAF X-15, an experimental rocket-powered aircraft that achieved a record speed of Mach 6.72, which is 4,520 miles per hour during its flights in the 1960s. This makes it the fastest crew air-breathing aircraft in history, far surpassing any conventional jet. Right? So, what I did, there's more information, but what I did, I said, how long would it take? Well, actually, let me see. Because it was an experimental. So, I was like, okay, I want to know, like, a jet that is actually operational, not experimental, but something that, Esau actually uses. So it mentioned other notable U.S. high-speed aircraft, which is SR-71 Blackbird, the fastest operational jet, reaching Mach 3.2, used for reconnaissance, which is 2,500 plus miles per hour, used for reconnaissance by U.S. Air Force and NASA until its retirement in 1999. So that's no longer operational. The Lockheed YF-12, a prototype interceptor derived from the SR-71, capable of Mach 3.2, 2,275 miles per hour. Number 3 was the F-15 Eagle, the fastest U.S. fighter jet currently in service with a top speed of Mach 2.5, which is 1,875 miles per hour. So I was like, okay, bingo, this is the one I want, because this is the one that's actually currently in service. So what I did was ask DeepSeek, how long will it take the F-15 Eagle to travel from Seattle to New York City at top speed? All right, so I just want to know, because I'll get to it. I just want to know. But as you see here, it says the F-15 Eagle with the top speed of Mach 2.5, which is once again 1,875 miles per hour, or 3,017 kilometers per hour, could theoretically fly from Seattle to New York City, a straight line distance of 2,408 miles, in approximately 1 hour and 17 minutes at maximum speed without refueling, accounting for acceleration/deceleration. All right, so Also, here in key considerations, it says fuel limitations. The F-15's combat radius is 1,061 miles without external tanks, meaning it would, require multiple mid-air refueling to complete the journey. All right. Operational constraints: sustaining Mach 2.5 for long durations risks engine wear and may not be feasible without afterburners, which drastically increase fuel consumption. All right, so there's a bunch of components that go into this, but theoretically, once again, as I said up here, the F-15 Eagle with the top speed of Mach 2.5 could theoretically fly from Seattle to New York City, a straight line distance of 2,408 miles in approximately 1 hour, 17 minutes. So pretty much 2.5 thousand miles being the distance that from Seattle to New York. This jet, theoretically could it would take longer than an hour to actually cover that distance. So I got to thinking, what even sparked this thought, once again what I said about watching apostles and elders, the apostle elders, America will be destroyed before the fastest jet that Esau manufactures here in America could even, cover that same distance. Just showing you the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and how fast those nukes is going, eat this place up. Matter of fact, real quick, let me do this. This is Isaiah 14, and hold on, let me see. Let me do this real quick. So this is Isaiah 14 and verse hold on. So like Isaiah 14 and 23. This is actually let me start up. Isaiah 14:21. I'm gonna read it KJV then NLT. It says, "Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities." All right, referring to the Edomites. All right, they have to pay for what their forefathers have done, contrary to what they believe. They think that they've done all this evil and wickedness in the earth, and that they don't have to pay for that, but they do. Okay, and we're living in a time in which these Edomites that's currently, in particular here in Babylon, have to pay, for what they've done to our forefathers via, the transatlantic slave trade and physical, chattel slavery and, the evil that they've carried out on the Israelites here in America. All right, all 12 tribes, not just so-called Negroes, but Latinos and Native Americans have also suffered at the hands of the so-called white man. All right, the nation of Edom. So their children have to pay for what their forefathers did, because in all actuality, the Edomites you see walking the world today, all right, once again here in Babylon in particular, they are their forefathers coming back via the process of reincarnation. Okay, so they have to pay. Verse 22, it says, I will rise up against them, saith Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith Yahweh." Okay, so if there's pertaining to the Edomites that's here in Babylon the Great, if there is, if every son, and nephew is pretty much cut out, is cut off, that's all. That's the that's all Edomites here in Babylon. They can't continue. All right. So every male Edomite, female Edomite that you see here in Babylon, okay, walking around, once those missiles go off, they will be no longer. Okay, they will be no longer. They're gonna have to come back to the earth via the process of reincarnation through one of the Edomites that's gonna be in slavery underneath the Israelites in the kingdom of heaven, and they're gonna be born right into slavery. All right, to pay, serve out that sentence before they're completely eradicated from the earth. They'll be eradicated. All Edomites and heathen, for that fact, will be eradicated from Babylon the Great by way of the missiles, but the Edomites will be eradicated from the earth. All right, they will have no place in the earth after they serve that 1,000 years of slavery. All right, double the judgment, according to Revelation 18 and 6, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so verse 23, it says, I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith Yahweh of hosts. Okay, which a besom is a broom. All right, so let's get this verse 21 in the NLT. It says, Isaiah 14:21. It says, kill this man's children, let them die because of their father's sins. They must not rise and conquer the earth, filling the world with their cities. And that's exactly what the nation of Edom has done. All right, us brothers up here. So like, hold on, give me a second. All right, us brothers up here have recently been talking about the Egyptians. All right, the Salaki, it's a tongue twister. Ptolemaic. All right, the Ptolemies that which are none but Edomites that took over Egypt, and simply, booted the Hamites out of their kingdom, so to say, and took over and put on their apparel and their garb and called themselves Egyptians. All right, so that's just an example of how Esau has gone around throughout the earth conquering and filling the world with cities. All right, with their cities. Okay, verse 22, it says, this is what the Lord Yahweh of heaven's armies says. I myself have risen against Babylon. I will destroy its children and its children. Oh, that's crazy. That's dope. I will destroy its children and its children's children, says Yahweh. Okay, and this is talking about Babylon the Great. Okay, because you still have people dwelling in what is known as ancient Babylon, which is in Iraq. You still got people dwelling there today. Okay, it says, I will make Babylon a desolate place of owls filled with swamps and marshes. And look at Louisiana. All right, Louisiana got a lot of swamps and marshes. Alligators and infested waters. All right, so you're gonna have a lot of places in Babylon that's like that. All right, it says, I will sweep the land with the broom of destruction. I, the Lord of heaven's armies, have spoken. All right, so there's nothing coming to Babylon but destruction, and that destruction is gonna come in less than an hour. All right, so once again, Esau's fastest jet uh, in operation, the F-15 Eagle, and what is, America's, in particular, America, but Esau's national symbol, all right, the symbol or the animal that represents the Edomites is the eagle. Okay, so their beloved F-15 Eagle, that jet itself can't outrun a thermonuclear missile. You know, it can't go. It can't go the distance of from Seattle to New York faster than this place is going to be destroyed. All right. Um. This is Revelation 18, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. It says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." All right, talking about America, Babylon the Great. We're actually, as apostles, we're getting into, we're going to have to be saved, which is, delivered from impending danger. All right, and missiles, thermonuclear missiles are grave, impending danger. All right, so we're going to actually have to be extracted from Babylon the Great, beamed up from this place, all right, delivered from this place. All right, this Babylon the Great is the main extraction point. All right, just like when you see in certain movies where you have some soldiers behind enemy lines and they need to get to a certain extraction point in order, and they have a certain window to make it there, a certain time frame they gotta be there by, because um they're behind enemy lines. All right, but they have a certain window in which they got to get to a certain extraction point in order to be picked up by a C-130 or a Chinook helicopter or something. Okay, so America is the main extraction point for the impending danger that's due to, in particular, once again, hit America, but there's going to be destruction going on all over the earth, and the elect will be delivered from wherever they are, all right, to not have to, feel the that snow globe effect, the earth reeling to and fro. All right, the elect is not going to have to be here physically on the earth to feel that great earthquake. Okay, because that great earthquake alone is going to kill a lot of people. You know, imagine having a toddler, and what I'm saying, that to have to experience that, you got young children, and you know they're not directly affected by they're not within the blast radius of the nuke, but that devastation of the earth reeling to and fro, man, that's gonna jack little kids up, equilibrium's all messed up, it's gonna be a crazy time. All right, so America is the main extraction point, okay, for the Lord's elect. So verse 5, it says, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities." So everything that America has done, in particular the Edomites, not only it's a wickedness that's being, has been spread, and currently being spread throughout the whole earth. It's evils, it's wars, okay, it's witchcraft, it's sorcery. All right, in particular the slavery and the hell that Esau has shoved down the throats of the children of Israel. And the Lord, He remembers all that. Okay, the scriptures tell you that in Ecclesiastes that the Most High requireth that which is past. Okay, so slavery was a thing of the past. All right, the physical slavery, getting whipped and fed slop, working sun up to sundown. Your children being sold off to another plantation, your woman being raped in front of you. You name it. The Lord remembers all that, and that's required. The Lord requires that. All right. So all those years of going back to the beginning, all the years of hell that we've caught from the Edomites is all going to be dished out and recompense to that bastard in 1 hour. Okay. Followed by 1,000 years of whoop ass. All right. Verse 6, it says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. All right. The decadence that this place once relished in, yeah, that's a thing of the past. All right. The terraces tore that up. Even before that, the Crown Royal, the Juicy Juice, the jalapeno popper, tore that up. So even before that, that the housing market going to shit, or back in the 2010s and 2000, what was that, 2009, you had the government went to shit in 2009, so it's been a gradual decline of decadence that America has suffered over the years. Okay, but it's all uh, gonna come to a head with the missiles being the icing on the cake. All right, to completely destroy this place. It's being destroyed economically, and it's what's that the rating for the so like I'm having a brain fart. What is that? It's a man infrastructure rating. There we go. The infrastructure rating has been crap, so everything is on a decline here in America. All right. Verse 7, it says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. All right. And you can see that this is the sentiment that these Edomites have, being that they really think that, they're gonna achieve, that good old, racist, spirit that they once had, that America once had, where Jim Crow era and even before that, when it was physical slavery. That's the spirit that these Edomites want to be revived here in America once again. All right, because those same demons that actually, you know, was around during that time, putting hell on Jake. Those same demons is back now. That's why that spirit is being revamped. Attempted to be revamped via these Edomites currently. All right, but the scriptures tell you that affliction shall not rise the second time. All right, I believe that's Nahum 1:9. So we ain't going back into slavery, so they can kiss that shit goodbye. All right. Verse 8, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. All right, so America is going to be completely consumed by fire. All right, completely destroyed via fire. Lament for Babylon. Okay, verse 9, it says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off, for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. All right, so these other nations, that at this particular point, when America is destroyed, it ain't gonna have no allies. It ain't gonna have no nobody, attempting to come to the rescue and aid this place. And no, the other nations is gonna be, in fear, looking at, the devastation and destruction that's come upon this place, you know. But the point being that it's gonna take 1 hour for the judgment to come. All right, meaning 1 hour for this place to be completely up in flames. All right, so this is verse 10 in the NLT. It says, "They will stand at a distance, terrified by her great torment. They will cry out, how terrible for you, O Babylon, you great city. In a single moment, the Most High's judgment came on you." Okay, so jumping down to verse 17, I'm gonna read through verse 19. Revelation 18 and 17, it says, "For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off." And you see that, you got tariff wars going on right now, and you got ports, on the west coast of America that's empty. So it's gonna come a point when, on the East Coast and the West Coast, and the South and up north, on the Great Lakes, you ain't gonna have no ships, unloading cargo containers with merchandise and goods from whatever respective country, uh, you know, used to send things here to America. It's gonna be completely empty. It's gonna be, at a standstill. All right, but amongst other countries, there's gonna be trade going on. All right, so when this destruction takes place, you're gonna have certain ship masters and so on and so forth that's gonna be in a vicinity to where they're gonna be able to see America completely on fire. All right, because America is 2.5 thousand miles from pretty much 3,000 miles, 2,500 miles, from east to west, and another 2,000 miles, 2,000 something miles, probably most likely 2,500 miles, some odd, from north and south, completely on fire. All right, so that's a big area. That's a big chunk of land. That's a big portion of North America. All right, the continent of North America that's going to be on fire, which is obviously going to be visible, at a great distance, off at sea. All right, that's why I said, and as many as trade by sea stood afar off. Okay. Verse 18, "And cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate." Okay, so once again, 1 hour is all it's going to take for this place to be no longer. All right, Babylon the Great. So this is Isaiah 13 and verse 19. It says, "In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah." Okay, and we know that Sodom and Gomorrah is completely destroyed. All right, there's nothing that's built in that area. Okay, the land is not, it doesn't produce any crops. It doesn't produce nothing. When you go there, you can take soil samples and see, that that place has a, there's sulfur. You know, the samples will come back with sulfur. You know, showing that that place was hit with extreme fire. Okay, so that place is not currently habited, and that's going to be the fate of Babylon the Great. All right, it's not going to be habited as well. All right, because it's going to be destroyed with fire. Verse 20, it says, "It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation." Okay, so once again, going back to what we read in Isaiah, how the Lord, let's go to it again real quick. Hold on just a second. Isaiah 14. Oh, hold on. That was something else. So like it. But pretty much where we read how it said that his children's children, you know. So this place being from generation to generation, no one dwelling in this place is a result of this place being completely destroyed with fire. Okay, so verse 20 again, it says, "It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there." All right, you're not going to have Turkey Al Sheikh putting on Ring Magazine boxing matches in the middle of Times Square. All right, complete duds. All right, a whack ass card. You're not gonna have that. You're not gonna have them. The Aki way. And go to some damn bodega and that used to be ran by, Ephraim, currently ran by some Arabs. All right, cooking some bullshit. All right, you're not gonna have that. Okay. It says, "But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there." All right, so wild, creatures and birds and so on and so forth that are able to survive in harsh desert-like climates is gonna be here. Okay, but not man. Man won't be here. "And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged." So at a set time, which no man knows, that day and hour no man knows but the Heavenly Father. But at that set time, those missiles is gonna rain down, and Babylon is gonna be destroyed. All right, the judgment, pronounced against this place, thousands of years ago is finally gonna come to pass, But there's no escape for Esau Edom. Okay, even his fastest fighter jet, the F-15, all right, Eagle, all right, we call that the Trump jet, all right, is not going to be able to outrun the ICBM intercontinental ballistic missile. Okay, so you Edomites are fucked, man. It's a wrap for you guys. But I pray this was an edifying lesson. Till next time, I say shalom.